Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Trundle game, and this game is quite the doozy. Verse 1. Right, by this title you can tell it's going to be quite a hellish experience. Verse 2. From the very beginning of the game, you can already see that my team pretty much countered itself. The enemy team picked Rammus first, and then my team went all AD. I picked Trundle to try to counter the Rammus, but whatever, we have like Zillion and I guess Kog'Maw, but that's not really enough. Theoretically, Rammus should, raffle stomp us. Anyhow, from the very beginning, you can tell shit's going wrong. We got a mid-gen who's pushing indiscriminately and positioning himself in very odd ways. I don't know what he's trying to do. I think he wants to harass a Jinx, but that doesn't really achieve anything. He's putting himself without any minions, and eventually Lux catches him, blasts him for a huge amount of damage, and he couldn't really do anything about that, and then Rammus shows up and kills him. The thing is, this happens a lot this game, and I gotta say, the first time you die or the first time a mistake happens, it's just a mistake. But the second time, it's a habit, and the third time, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking. You should learn by then. So, at this point, actually, around another minute, my team is already hollering at me, "Why haven't you ganked anybody, Trundle?" And the thing is, that's very tilting for a jungler, especially given the situation I'm in. I can't really gank for Tryndamere because he constantly scares the Gangplank away, and Gangplank's pretty hard to kill with a Tryndamere in the lane, and my bottom lane is constantly getting their asses kicked because they're getting very aggro, so they're just never really there. And I already told you the mid situation where he just keeps getting chunked or killed, or he's gonna be getting chunked a lot more and getting killed. He just got chunked and sent home. At the very least, Jin's farm is good, so even if he's dying, you'll be, sort of adequately caught up at some point. But yeah, like, he keeps getting caught out of position because he keeps trying to get close enough to shoot the Lux, and then Rammus or Lux are able to snare him at some point and then to kill him. So, I can't gank anybody. Look at the lane down bottom lane. So my best bet is just to farm up as much as possible and try to gain control of the map. Rammus can get hit big or something just by killing people, but I'll get big and equal to him just by, farming up. Anyways, I perform a counter gank and I focus on the Vayne. I even alter, although technically numerically might not have been the most beneficial. I just want to make sure she died. I didn't want to make sure she, somehow got away alive, and I wasted my time. So we traded 1-for-1 there, and I steal all this farm. And you normally don't want to tax your laners that much or push their lane, but in a situation like this where you can see that it's sort of falling apart, you got to be really dangerous and really risky. And here, I just run up to them. If they knew any better, they could have really chunked me down for a lot of damage, but they were that scared. Anyways, I do a sort of quasi direct gank against the Lux. I don't know where the fuck the Jhin blew his ultimate, but whatever. It's like, she was in range, and I was just going to try to force out a summoner spell from her to make sure, she was a little bit weaker, since it wouldn't cost me very much. And then Jhin, because, Lux burned one of her summoner spells, I guess got really cocky and died again, so hooray, that's 4 deaths by the Jhin. Same thing with the Tryndamere too. He keeps trying to go for kills against the Gangplank, but he doesn't realize he really doesn't have that unless the Gangplank was already making his own mistakes. I mean, he almost killed him, but it made him very vulnerable to the Rammus, so there goes Tryndamere again. So I'm literally going to itemize just to counter the Lux because I predict she's going to be feeding her ass off this Jhin. By the way, this I think is a pretty trolly. I flash forward, wall him in there because, I don't know, he was trying to get a little too cute with tanking the tower, and I managed just to make sure he got destroyed by it, and I picked up a kill, so hooray for me, I guess. So, yeah, I'm going to be itemizing to deal with the Lux. I'm gonna get Mercury Tread so she doesn't CC me as hard, Spirit Visage so I don't die as brutally, and then just hopefully get my armor from the Rammus. Eventually building Randuin's Omen though, just to sort of CC everyone around me, right? Anyhow, my Kog'Maw, he's probably one of our potential roads to victory, mostly because it's Kog'Maw. If you're a ham nugget, even if you're someone who eats with his feet or something, even though you have hands, you can probably destroy the enemy team with Kog'Maw after you just press W and you farm it up a bit. I mean, look at his farm, it's terrible, but whatever. Kog'Maw getting to late game eventually will destroy everybody. Anyways, Jhin left his lane instead of farming it because he wanted to get a kill against the Gangplank that the Tryndamere could have killed by himself anyways, and then gets himself killed again. So, yay for us. Tryndamere dies too because he was getting a little out of position. I charge at the Rammus, burning everything against him and eventually nomming his face off. Although I think I may have not been able to do that if he didn't somehow just turn around at an angle and allow me to actually get in range to bite him, so whatever. Thankfully, my Kog'Maw again is getting kills, so it doesn't matter how like odd the bottom lane is. He's gonna tear people to shreds. I come top lane just to sort of scout around, and we get ourselves a what's called Rift Herald. We managed to obtain it, although it wasn't really that hard. We go directly for a gank against Gangplank, and I use my ultimate, hit him a bit, and then I just kind of stand here tanking the tower for the Tryndamere so he cuts him up to shreds. I kind of returned closer to him because I thought, oh, I'm not taking any fucking damage. I might as well bite him in the face and try to get the kill. But whatever, Tryndamere gets it, it's fine for us. Like, if I went too forward, I didn't want to be there if Rammus came by and be tanking the tower while him taunting me. Kog'Maw also showed up for no real reason. If you've watched the stream, it was just confusing, and he died for no reason too. He was trying to search for the Lux, but you know, doing that, going blindly into bushes against a mage, just asking to die. I finally get brought down, but I sacrifice myself to bring down the Vayne, which is kind of equal, although I ended up giving them a bounty, so also, it's kind of amusing that you saw Tryndamere cut someone in half when we just went critical. The amount of rage and salt that happened in all chat after that by that Lux was immense. But unfortunately, the Tryndamere gets baited by their Gangplank super goddamn hard and gets killed. Fortunately, though, the distraction is enough for us to get the dragon rather easily, even though it's an earth one. I don't get the best wall, so unfortunately Morgana gets to escape, and watch this. They don't realize that I itemized myself pretty goddamn well, and as a result, Vayne and Lux can't do jack dick to me. They did kill the Zilean, but he's still a support, so he was probably going to die to a breeze anyway, so whatever. So yeah, right now, I'm just like, the power is on me, and thankfully the Tryndamere rebounded by some choice kills, and the Kog'Maw is a Kog'Maw, so whatever. Like, I mean, look at this. It's very obvious he's going to die because he gets too ahead of himself, and he doesn't realize that, yes, your opponents can fucking kill you if you get out of position, so whatever. But thankfully, again, I'm so fucking huge, and my opponents are beginning to underestimate me. They're trying to get a little too cute by spamming spells. It's like, oh, you use your shit on me? Well, I can walk up to you, tank this tower, and beat you to death, and not even come out of there with a goddamn scratch. Look at that. Just, I know I took a lot of tower shots and that chunked me a bit, but whatever. And eventually it's going to get to a situation where, just kind of spoiler alert, the Rammus doesn't realize that he probably should not go anywhere near me if he wants his team not to lose brutally. So yeah, like now I'm building Randu and Zoman Warden's Mail first, just to make it so they're getting punished for focusing me, because they seem to be doing that even though they should have realized at this point they cannot kill me. Like, Lux can burn her entire combo, and I'll just laugh at her. And Vayne can jump at me, and then I can just walk away or beat her to death. At this point, I am Jesus mode. I don't have the most CS in the game because I am a jungler, and my kill spread is equal to some other champions, but my itemization is being strictly built to fuck them up. Look at this. I'm going to wait till his W is almost over so I can drain his blood fuel with my ultimate. And by doing this, I actually tear through his armor way more than possible. Okay, if you guys didn't know this, when you drain somebody's armor as Trundle, you drain from whatever their current armor and magic resistance is. So if they're having an elevated armor or magic resistance due to some item or some ability, in this case Rammus's W, when it wears off, you're still draining it at the percentage that you were supposed to be draining it when it was augmented. So if you do it at the last second of Rammus's magic shell thingy, then you're gonna, when it wears off, you're draining him for a shitload, and it really hurts Rammus. I have an entire video about that just because it was kind of cool to find that out. But basically the Rammus is handing me all his power that he's built up over killing Jhin for the entire game, and I don't even know if he's realizing how bad that is. His only alternative is to just kind of hang around until I use my W. I mean, until I use my ultimate on somebody else and then use his W. Otherwise, it just kind of backfires on him tremendously. Anyhow, the other thing that he also did that is very incorrect is he bought a Thorn Mail very early. He bought it because he thought it was cheeky because most of my team would get countered by it. And by the way, I love that wall. It's like he's just trying to inch through, but it delayed him so much that we were able to get on top of him. My ultimate just burning through. You can see how much armor I've drained from him. He eventually gets killed, so it's a very choice kill against the Rammus, which allows us to bulldoze our way through the Lux, through the Vayne. And here I actually flashed because I didn't realize the ultimate was on me, but whatever. Kog'Maw tears through the Vayne rather easily. Tryndamere comes in and just starts, well, tanking the tower, and then I think he eventually kills the Morgana. But yeah, this is basically the roller coaster of death now. They're on Trundle's fucking wild ride now, and there's no getting off of it. Free admittance for everybody, motherfuckers. But yeah, I itemized well against him. I made sure, hopefully, some of my teammates would just naturally get better, because that's what I was banking on. Again, Kog'Maw and Tryndamere, even if they're not the best of players, if you just sort of make the game easier for them or set things up so they can blunder themselves into a victory, then yeah, hooray for everybody. So that was at least my very aim. But anyways, Rammus building Thornmail first was just one of those things to be cute. You know, like, oh, they have an alt AD team. It should crush them, theoretically. But not against Trundle, who's just going to steal that from you and kind of punish you for that. You need some health to back it up or some shit like that. So yeah, he pretty much had this point where he became too weak anywhere near me, and it became too easy to kill him as a result, because he basically had no health for a while. And anyways, so we're doing this little dance around them, and eventually the Vayne gets a little too close. Just watch. She gets a little too close, gets stunned, gets ignited, gets shot down, and eventually she just dies. So with that, we turn our attentions to catching the rest of them, and again, they burned so much CC on me, but they wasted all while Tryndamere managed to catch them all, and then Jhin finally uses the ultimate appropriately, and we're just able to catch them. I use my ultimate on Gangplank this time, because at this point, who gives a shit? The enemy team is in full retreat, and I'm just trying to kill them. So we kill ourselves a Morgana, and eventually kill ourselves a Gangplank, and we go all mad wild hog on them, and catch the Rammus too, and beat him to death. So with this, the enemy is completely wiped out, and they pretty much lost. You know, with all their honor, they're at least not surrendering. I mean, you saw the Tryndamere, he was gonna leave for farm, and he didn't realize we could just fucking win. But that's how much awareness the team had. But whatever, we pulled through. The tilt ended through the end of this. I got the team through the early game, so hooray for Trundle, praise the troll, hooray, hooray, hooray. This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel, and subscribe if you haven't yet. I've also made a Patreon now, and if you wish to support me through that medium, then I welcome it.